Talk about an offer that's hard to refuse. Our David Pogue was invited recently to join the highly select and very small group of people who've actually made it to the bottom of the Atlantic to view firsthand the eerie remains of the Titanic. It promised to be quite a journey.
Star of the show is the Titan, Stockton Rush's custom-built submersible. 5-inch thick carbon fiber capped on each end by a dome of titanium. If all went well, I myself would be spending about 12 hours sealed inside on a dive to the Titanic. Not gonna lie, I was a little nervous.
An experimental submersible vessel that has not been approved or certified by any regulatory body and could result in physical injury, disability, emotional trauma, or death.
As you all know, there was a submarine exploring the Titanic that went missing for several days. Inside the vessel were 5 wealthy patrons, whom were in a cramped position. They could not stand up or crouch. They were forced to sit. There was no food or water. There was one barely functional toilet and a limited supply of oxygen. Communication with the vessel was lost this Sunday, and a desperate search for the crew began.
There are many moving parts right now in this search. It is a coordinated and very complex operation. Chris Tanaka continues our team coverage now with a look at all the elements now working together.
Yeah, David, this effort encompasses air, surface, and underwater assets. Remember, American and Canadian aircraft simultaneously searching from the skies. They actually drop sonar buoys into the water. They're about 3 feet long, and they start pinging. If they hit anything, they'll communicate with the aircraft. It was a Canadian plane that detected the banging. Now we move to the surface. Several ships are involved, each with different capabilities. Sonar, some have winch systems to lift objects. There's a medical assistance ship, and lastly, there are ships transporting these ROVs, or remotely operated vehicles. They search below the surface. Think of them as underwater drones. A state-of-the-art French ROV is expected to join the hunt tonight, and if it locates the Titan, it could conceivably grab it with a robotic arm and haul it to the surface. Now, one more important note. You may ask, why doesn't the U.S. military deploy a submarine? Well, their maximum operational depth is 1,000 feet. Of course, the Titanic and potentially the Titan down 13,000 feet. So far, the search has already covered an area twice the size of Connecticut and 2.5 miles deep. But still, the Titan and its location remains a mystery.
The Coast Guard would find traces of the vessel when they heard a banging sound. It is believed that the titanium frame of the vessel could not sustain the ocean's pressure, causing it to implode, taking the lives of these 5 people. Among the crew was a 19-year-old. The question is, did it happen immediately, or was it a slow death? At the depths of the Titanic, 2 miles down, the pounds per square inch of the water is immense. It is capable of crushing someone entirely. If it imploded immediately, their deaths would have likely been quick. But if it took longer, they would have gradually run out of oxygen, as well as having to deal with the cramped space in the vessel and a lack of food. The cold would cause them to slowly freeze to death. This likely did not happen. It has been revealed that the submarine had design flaws concerning structural integrity, and it was made with cheap supplies.
Do you think we underestimate the power of the sea?
Yes, we definitely underestimate the power of the sea. People get in trouble at sea all the time. We underestimate the intensity of waves, and we underestimate the pressure. For example, people were asking about recovery of the bodies. There's no bodies. I hate to say it, but there's no bodies to recover. This implosion is so rapid. It compresses the air in your lungs is instantaneously compressed to something about this size. And then if there was anything left, it's been down there for a week. So I would be really, really surprised to see any bodies. We just don't, on our normal lives, we don't experience the kind of forces that that we are subjected to at these depths in the ocean.
In our normal lives, we don't normally learn so much either about oceans for the rest of us and about the Navy and about the operations. Look, Captain David, it's been fascinating talking to you. Thank you.
The ocean is treacherous and unforgiving. People underestimate how dangerous it can be. But what if you're forced to recognize that, and no one comes to save you because it would save lives?
We interrupt this program to bring you a special news bulletin. The Japanese have attacked Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, by air, President Roosevelt has just announced.
December 7th, 1941. Japan attacks Pearl Harbor, and in the confusion and panic, Ronald Endicott, Clifford Olds, and Lewis Costin were trapped in the USS West Virginia, one of the 19 ships that were sunk by torpedoes or other means. The ship was saved from being wrecked by closing the hatch compartments and counter-flooding it to ensure it was level. While this saved hundreds of people, it left these 3 soldiers trapped in a small room of the vessel, alone to think about their lives. There was no way to rescue them without endangering them and everyone around them. 6 months later, their bodies were pulled from the wreck, and in the room, they found ration cans and flashlight batteries, and a calendar marked from December 7th to December 23rd. The ocean's surface can be just as terrifying as what's underneath. Cameron Robbins was a baseball player that had just graduated high school and was celebrating on a cruise ship. He was dared to jump off of the ship, and he did.
This kid f***ing jumped off! Oh my God! Oh, bye-bye! Oh, that's Hey, grab the buoy!
As the boat was moving very quickly, he was unable to get back on or get any sort of resources that would get him to safety. He was stranded out in the sea and in the pitch-black darkness of the night.